And for them, their functional saviors are saviors that cannot save. They are saviors of success, saviors of comfort, saviors of pleasure, saviors of provision. And so the real issue here is one where they are worshiping comfort instead of Christ. And Christ is calling them to do that which is for them uncomfortable. And they would rather have comfort than Christ. And we can look at them and we can judge them and we could say, yes, that's how the haughty, pride, rich people of the world are. And let me just say this, for those of us who are Americans or live in the Western world, we tend to be the haughty, pride-filled rich people. We live at an affluence and a lifestyle that is really unparalleled in the history of the world. Their homes were gigantic. Most of our homes are similarly sized. Their homes had indoor plumbing, which was innovative, and we take it for granted. That for us, we're really not worried, most of us, about whether or not we'll have clothes to wear tomorrow, water to drink, or food to eat. Instead, we just assume that our affluence will continue. And it can lead us into a place of lethargy where heaven doesn't feel like home, that this is a good enough paradise for us, where Christ is not who we live for, but comfort is what we live for. And Jesus comes and he says, though everything is going well physically and materially, I'm very concerned for you spiritually because you've chosen comfort over Christ. And so then he goes on, but first I'd ask you just a few questions so that we don't just hear about the Laodiceans and then arrogantly stand back and judge them. But instead we humbly learn from them, knowing that in many ways we're prone to be just like them. And if we don't do that, we end up just reading the Bible like religious people who judge others rather than worshipers who allow the scriptures to judge ourselves. So number one, would you say in your relationship with Jesus, is it cold? You really don't care. Is it lukewarm? You don't care very much. Or is it hot? You really do love Jesus. You really are motivated to get to know him better. You really do want to walk with him and by grace become more like him. Would you say you are cold, lukewarm, or hot? And sadly, what sometimes happens is in Christianity, lukewarmness is accommodated and we just compare ourselves to those who are icy cold. And we think, well, I'm not as bad as they are. No, but we're not where we should be. Number two, would you say that the church you're in is cold, lukewarm, or hot? And sadly, I think that Jesus' word to the church that it's lukewarm could be a word that is appropriate for many churches. Just lukewarm. Not a real passion, not a real zeal. People aren't giving, praying, serving, caring, trying, risking, innovating. It doesn't bother them that people aren't becoming Christians. It doesn't bother them that lives aren't being transformed in large numbers. It doesn't bother them that everything is sort of just settled into a comfortable routine. And you could kind of imagine it here. Very affluent people going to church and then going out to lunch and then going on with their lives, not applying anything that the scriptures had really commanded them to believe and ways to behave.